Hello and welcome to Shardcast. I am Aaron Froats and I will be your host again as we move into our Day 4 coverage of the second Hex Streamers Tournament brought to you by Hex TCG Pro and Hexcasters. Today we'll feature a matchup between Hacky and between Joltenergy. Joltenergy is looking to get their first win of the tournament, while Hacky is trying to make sure he gets a stranglehold on one of those positions at the top of the pool that will move him into the bracket round. Hacky will be continuing to play his Diamond Sapphire deck that's centered around some flying troops, while Joltenergy will be playing a Blood Sapphire deck. And the match is just about to begin, and we'll get you over to the coin flip. And here's the flip. We'll be looking at it from Hacky's point of view. He's playing the Feather Drifting Downriver, and we'll get the coin toss. We'll be playing first, and Joltenergy will play Gozog. Hacky looks at his hand with 2 shards, one of each, a Stone Skin, Air Superiority, 2 Buccaneers, and a Ancestors Chosen. Looks like that'll probably be a keepable hand for him. It'll take a minute to decide there, and yes, he decides to keep it, so he'll shift it over to Joltenergy to look at his hand. Joltenergy now deciding to keep his as well, so we're going to get this match underway. Hacky's going to open up with a very familiar opening, which is Sapphire Shard followed by Ancestors Chosen. So we see that 1/1 troop hit the board, and Hacky will pass his turn over to Jolt to get this game underway. Hacky, as we saw on day 1 against Function, had a little bit of difficulty pulling any of those Ancestral Specters out that the Chosen put in his deck, so we'll hope his luck may change here. Joltenergy plays a Blood Shard to open up his first turn. He, however, will elect not to play anything and pass his turn back over to Hacky. Again, we are in day 4 of the North American West pool of the second Hex Streamers Tournament, brought to you by Hex TCG Pro and Hexcasters. We see Hacky on a second turn put down a Diamond Shard, which will probably bring out Air Superiority, which is kind of a play in advance because Ancestors Chosen is not a flying troop and will not gain the buff from that constant. But he will go ahead and swing and deal 1 damage to Joltenergy here. If you were trying to follow along with the Shard cast, you notice we didn't have a day 2 Shard cast. We had a couple of scheduling conflicts that happened. So a couple of the day 2 games moved to day 3 to day 4, and so on and so forth. But day 5 will be the culmination of the round robin play, the pool play. And we'll be bringing 2 matches from day 5. In the meantime, Joltenergy plays a second Blood Shard and uses his champion ability to gain 1 life back and take 1 from Hacky, so they'll switch life totals at 20 to 19, and he'll pass his turn over, keeping his 2 resources available. Hacky opens up turn 3 by drawing a Sapphire Shard, so he'll go ahead and play that. It'll be interesting to see if he plays the Buccaneers. There's only real 3-drop play he can play, but it doesn't really do itself justice. Buccaneers usually used to come in and take an opposing troop off the board and put it back in their hand. So he elects not to play the Buccaneer, keeps the 3 resources in hand, and swings the Chosen back at Jolt to tie the health totals at 19. And he will instead pass his turn and keep those 3 resources up, which may prove to be kind of a bluff towards Jolt, because as we know, the Sapphire decks tend to play counter magic, and with 3 resources up and 2 threshold, counter magic could be a possible play. Jolt comes out with his first Sapphire Shard and immediately plays Murder to get the Chosen off the board. Hacky, in response, plays Stone Skin, which is able to interrupt the target card that is targeting one of his troops. So Murder will not resolve. Both cards will go to the graveyard, and Chosen will stay on the board. Jolt is now out of resources and will be forced to pass his turn back over. You have to think Hacky will play his Buccaneer next turn just to be able to get a board presence out there and start swinging away at Jolt's life total. Chosen twitches there to put 2 more Specters in the deck. Hacky draws a diamond shard and goes ahead and plays that, and he now has 2 thresholds of each. Hacky's champion power now lights up, so he's able to give a target troop flight, and he'll do so to the Chosen, which will now get the buff from air superiority since it has the flight keyword, and now becomes a 2/2. So he'll no doubt swing with that this turn. Yes, he does. Bringing Jolt's life total down to 7. As I said before, I'd be surprised to see Hacky not drop a Buccaneer on his second main phase here, just to start putting some pressure on Jolt. He does not, though. However, he's going to use him as removal, which is still a very viable play, and I don't disagree with that play. As we move to Joltenergy's 4th turn, he will drop a Sapphire Shard, and his champion power lights back up, and he will go ahead and use it, taking 1 life away from Hacky and gaining 1 health himself, so the health totals are tied to 18 again. He will play an Archmage Wenlock, or Renlock, depending on how you pronounce it, which is a 3/3 troop for 4 and 2 Sapphire Threshold, that whenever you play an action, you are able to draw a card. However, it's not a flying creature, so the Chosen will still be able to go overhead. Hacky does play his Buccaneer this turn and bounces the Renlock back to Joltenergy's hand. That Renlock will now get a permanent cost of +1, so now it'll be a 5-drop. And Hacky will swing away with 2 more from the Chosen. He did not play a Shard drop in this turn, he didn't pull it off the top of his deck. He's still sitting with Repel, Eldritch Dreamer, and Buccaneer in his hand. Life total is now 18-16, Hacky on top, as he passes turn back over. Jolt will draw a card, bringing his hand total to 7, play a Sapphire Shard. Resource total of 5. And we'll see if he chooses to use Extinction and wipe the board here, which wouldn't be a bad play to keep Hacky at bay. We know you need 2 threshold for that, and that is a 4-drop to play Extinction, which wipes the board of all troops. No, he decides to play as Renlock again, using all 5 resources, and now it's a 3/3 still. But that doesn't allow him to counter or kill anything of Hacky's. So again, he will continue to swing away with the 2/2 flyer. It twitches again and puts another Spectre in the deck. Hacky draws a Living Totem. See if he chooses to bounce the Renlock again. Yes, he does. He can play Buccaneer and bounce the Renlock for a 2nd time. This is a huge, huge control card, even though it is a troop, as now he can attack with both creatures, or both troops on play, dealing 4 damage, and the Renlock will cost 6 this time around, which unless Jolt picks up another resource, he won't be able to play him, and even if he does, it will exhaust all his resources again just to be able to get back on the board. If not, he'll be facing 6 damage next turn. Jolt will draw a card, bring his hand total back to 7. He plays a Sapphire Shard, and immediately plays the card Yesterday, which is a quick action, which puts each troop back in its owner's hand. He did that to keep the troops at bay, but that gives Hacky 2 more removal spells, essentially, as he can now play the Buccaneers back out and bounce more of Jolt's troops back off the board. I don't necessarily disagree with the play, but that's not the ideal play. I'm more or less putting a Band-Aid on a gushing wound here. He does use his champion power to go back up to 13 health and knock Hacky down to 17. But with that being a permanent flight ability, you'd have to see Chosen coming back out this turn. Hacky draws a Spectre, plays it immediately, comes out as a 3/3 now instead of 2/2 because it has flight. He does play the Chosen back out. It is a 2/2 again. And Hacky will put a Living Totem out there. So Hacky has 3 troops back out on the board after the Yesterday was played, putting significant pressure in on Jolt. You have to think if Jolt has an Extinction, he has to play it here, even though it will take up the bulk of his resources. Otherwise, it's going to be a fast and furious victory for Hacky here. It is representing 7 damage on the board. Jolt draws a card, and he seems to be taking a moment. Decides to murder The Living Totem keeps that from buffing up or even gaining the flight ability, which would give it a +1/+1 from the air superiority. And then he decides to play a Zentoth's Inquisitor. He's got the flight gem in there, so it's a 3/1 with flight since he's able to meet the sapphire threshold of that gem. So we'll put him a blocker out there. Zentoth's Inquisitor, if you recall, does bounce back to your hand when it dies, but it gets a permanent cost of +2. So we can do a couple trade-offs here just to put the troops at bay, but you have to know Hacky's got those 2 Buccaneers in hand, so he's just going to bounce it right back off the board, I have to imagine. Diamond Shard comes out after he draws it. Here comes the Buccaneer, which will bounce the Inquisitor back to the hand and give it +1 cost, allowing Hacky to swing 5 freely. And Hacky moves to his combat phase and will go ahead and attack for that 5, bringing Joltenergy down to 8 health. And puts the Living Totem out on board, which basically spells the end of the game for Joltenergy if you can't do something to block here, or actually remove probably the Living Totem. His next turn, Hacky can actually give the Totem flight, which would make it a 3/3 flying, representing 8 damage that can't be blocked unless Jolt puts a flying creature out there. Even if he does, Hacky can then swing with the Buccaneer. So it's not looking good unless there's an extinction out there. Life Siphon. That will work. Joltenergy decides a Life Siphon for 6, which will bring his life total back up to 14, and Hacky goes down to 11. That buys him 1 extra turn, as Hacky is representing 9, 10 damage if he gives Totem flight. And Hacky draws another Living Totem. So I have to assume he's going to give Living Totem flight here, just to be able to get that extra damage in. He's going to save that Buccaneer for in case Joltenergy does put a blocker out there to secure the victory on the next turn. Unless, of course, Joltenergy pulls or has in hand an extinction or another Life Siphon. Hacky does indeed give Living Totem flight. It'll get the buff from the air superiority, moving it to a 3/3. And you have to assume he's going to swing the house here. Yep, 3, 5, 7, 10 damage swinging right at Jolt. Jolt has no resources, so he can't do anything about it, and we'll go down to 4 health. Second main phase, you gotta assume Hacky's gonna put the other Living Totem out there. Nope, he holds on to him. Jolt now needs to have an extinction or a Life Siphon to be able to stay in this. He plays a Blood Shard to go 7 resources. Terrible Transfer. That will sort of work. Terrible Transfer reads, deal 1 damage to target troop for each blood threshold you have. You gain 1 health for any damage you dealt this way. It deals the 3 damage to the totem, takes it off the board, gains 3 health to bring him up to 7, but that doesn't stop Hacky from going through. Hacky's still representing 7 damage on board, so that's game unless Jolt has another answer. He does not and concedes the game, so Hacky will take game 1 here as they move to sideboard. Again, Hacky taking game 1 over Joltenergy. This is almost a must-win for Joltenergy as he's not yet won a match here in the North American West Coast pool. Let's take a look at Hacky sideboarding here, and we'll also take a look at the Buccaneer, which was a key card for this matchup. In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the Buccaneer, which is a 2/2 troop that costs 3 and 1 sapphire threshold. This troop, when it comes into play, can bounce target troop to its owner's hand, and that troop will gain a permanent cost of +1. Again, it says target troop. It doesn't necessarily have to be an opposing troop. This could come in handy if you need to bounce one of your own troops back to your hand for a come into play type power that you want to reuse. But more often than not, it's used as a removal spell or delayed control spell against the opponent. And it looks like, as we speed up a little bit here, sorry about that. It looks like the sideboarding's just about done. The players are bringing in their sideboarding to the tournament director, and we will move on to game 2. Joltenergy again trying to stay alive here in this match and pretty much this pool. And, pardon me, Hacky looking to pretty much seal a spot in the top 3 spots of the pool to move on to the bracket round. Hacky wins a coin flip here, and he's going to look at his hand, and that's not a very good starting hand. He's got 5 sapphire cards, 1 diamond card that requires 2 threshold, and just a diamond shard. So he's going to go ahead and mulligan down to 6. This one's not much better. He's still got 1 shard again. It's a sapphire shard this time. He has Ancestors Chosen, which is okay, but he has 3 other sapphire cards, both with dual threshold, and a Stone Skin, which is a diamond card. So you'll probably look to mulligan down to 5, which is very risky, but he almost has to do it here. So he's going to continue to look over his cards here and decide what he wants to do. He does go down to 5. He pulls a Counter Magic, Air Superiority, Living Totem, Eldritch Dreamer, and a Diamond Shard, and chooses to keep it. I don't know if I agree with this at all. If you're not going to keep the 6, why do you keep the 5? Either way, he keeps it. Jolt keeps his hand of 7. Hacky starts out with a Diamond Shard and passes turn over. This could be a rough game for Hacky if he doesn't get a good card draw here. Anyway, we'll move on to Joltenergy's first turn. He will mimic Hacky's turn from last game, play a Sapphire Shard and Ancestors Chosen. So we'll see if it'll work out for him the same way it worked out for Hacky. He'll pass turn back over. Hacky does not draw a shard. This is not good. He has all 2 drops or higher in his hand, and his only diamond card is the Living Totem, which requires 2 resources. He only has the 1, so he has to pass turn back over. This gives Joltenergy huge card advantage here. Or board state advantage, I should say. As he plays a Blood Shard and will use his champion ability to take 1 off of Hacky and bring 1 to himself, bringing the life totals to 2119. And swing for 1. Hacky has no choice but take it on the chin. 2118. And Joltenergy maybe holding on to those 2 resources for a Persecute to slow Hacky down even further if he does get something out in play, or maybe just doesn't have anything that small. Hacky draws another Air Superiority. Looking for shards. Willing to buy shards. Having to pass turn. Joltenergy has to take advantage of this situation. Let's hope he's got the resource curve to be able to do so. Plays another Sapphire Shard, bringing his resource total up to 3. Swinging with the Chosen again. This is only 1 shot each time, so it's not putting a lot of pressure on the Hacky to be able to be in that must situation to draw a shard. Joltenergy hangs on to his 3 resources and passes turn. Hacky needs a shard here, and in a dire way, pulls a Buccaneer. This isn't good. Hacky has got to be panicking just a little bit here. Life total not in trouble yet, but without the resources to play anything in his hand, next turn, if he doesn't draw a shard, he's going to have to start discarding. Joltenergy pulls a Sapphire Shard, plays the Archmage Renlock. That'll put some pressure on him. Has the champion ability light up again, goes and uses it, 22 to 16. Hacky almost stalling like he has a Stone Skin, but you can't Stone Skin the champion power. And that will move to the attack phase. Joltenergy swings for 1 again with the Chosen. 22-15. Representing 4 damage on the board now. Moving to the next turn. Hacky with 1 resource through 4 turns. Joltenergy passing turn. Hacky must pull a resource here. Turn 5. Pulls a Sapphire Shard. Living Totem will hit the board. That is somewhat okay for Hacky. Can't really do anything because he'll be forced to block the Renlock if the Renlock swings, unless he wants to take 3 more on the chin. Let's see, Joltenergy draws a card. Does not drop a shard this turn. Does choose to swing with the Renlock, which is a 3/3. Let's see if Hacky chooses to block it with the 2/2 totem. Does not. We'll take 3 more on the chin, going down to 12 health. Hacky needs another shard. Turn 6. Pulls another living totem. That's an okay card. He can at least play that one. But these are not ideal draws for him. Trying to decide if he wants to... Yeah, he'll attack first. And without 2 blood threshold, you have to assume that's going to go through. It does. Bring Jolt down to 20. Hacky will play a second living totem in the second main phase. Which will allow him to at least maybe block the Renlock and leave a living totem on the board. Joltenergy turn 6. Doesn't drop a shard again, 7 cards in hand. Gotta watch out for that Persecute here with 7 cards in hand. Hacky lets the 3 damage go through again. So he will go down to 9 health. Not looking good for Hacky here. Wondering if he's second guessing keeping that 5 card hand. As he's staring at 6 cards in hand, all diamond cards. He pulls another shard. That may be able to turn it around as he can now play his Buccaneer or give his totem flight. Play the Buccaneer, go to bounce the Renlock, I assume. Ooh! Counter magic by Joltenergy. Buccaneer going to the graveyard. Hacky loses the any chance of those resources to be available to him now. Any Buccaneers he plays in the future will be a 4-drop now. He almost has to, yeah, he doesn't attack here. He has to keep them back to be able to block. He's in single-digit health total now. Somewhat equaled board state, but with that Renlock, I'd like to think he may be slightly behind. A little bit of flicker there from Hacky's feed, as we are borrowing Hacky's feed here for this shard cast. And with the counter magic card, there is a slight syncing delay there in between turns as we now move on to Joltenergy's 7th turn. He'll play an Ancestral Spectre, which is a 2/2 flyer and able to draw a card when it enters play. And now the 2/2 flyer will be able to go through unabated next turn. He goes ahead and swings the Renlock, forcing Hacky to block with both. Let's see if he has a Persecute to take one of them off the board, which would be almost game for Hacky. And he does not have one, so they'll trade a totem for a Renlock here. One of the totems will stay on the board. And Joltenergy will pass turn. Now, the question will be, does he go ahead and give... If he plays a shard, he can go ahead and give Living Totem flight and play the air superiority and make it a 3/3 flyer. Nope, draws another air superiority. I would almost give Living Totem's life drain here, maybe. Swift Strike would be good, because then if he does try to block with the Spectre, it will kill the Spectre. But again, he can't block the Spectre since it's flying, so I think I would go Swift Strike here. Or do you play Air Superiority, banking on being able to give him flight next turn? Depends on how comfortable you are with the life total here. Air Superiority. Next turn, play a shard, give it flight, +1/+1 over life drain. This Air Superiority might be the better play here. But that's also banking on pulling a shard, and he's had not the best of luck pulling shards this game. He continues to mull over his choices. We'll look at his hand again. He's got a counter magic, 3 copies of Air Superiority, and 2 copies of Eldritch Dreamer. Both with the Sapphire shard in there that says when he deals damage, he will draw a card. Eldritch Dreamer, it doesn't state on the card, but right now, because right now there is a bug associated with the card, it is still unblockable. So if you could land one of those, that could be instant card draw for you because it will not be able to be blocked. Hacky's still mulling over his decision here. He knows this is a very, very almost game-changing decision. Trying not to go to game 3. Trying to go ahead and finishing off Jolt here. He's going to make a heck of a comeback first. Hacky running up on about 45 seconds now. Trying to figure out when his play. Decides he's going to go ahead and move to his attack phase first. Maybe. And he holds it back. Interesting. He's going to keep the 3 resources for in case. Maybe in case the Spectre swings again. He's going to give Totem Flying and then block, maybe? I don't know if I quite agree with that. But that could be why I'm here casting and they're playing. So, we'll see how it turns out. Joltenergy moves to turn 8. Draws a card. He has 8 cards in hand now. And let's see if he plays a shard. No, he could play Persecute and goes ahead and just take the Living Totem off the board. Hacky, because he has his resources back, able to counter magic the Persecute. Turns out to be a great play by Hacky at holding the resources back. I almost wonder if he shouldn't have baited the Totem first. Because if you swung with the Spectre, you have to think Hacky would have given Totem flight. Then you can use the Persecute because Hacky would have been out of resources. So maybe a little bit of a misstep by Jolt. He can swing too freely now. So either way, it does get through. Now, had it played out the other way around, had Hacky given Totem flying and be able to sign him as a blocker, then Persecute, the damage would not have gone through. Because Spectre does not have the crush ability. However, it all depended on when Hacky gave the flight to the Totem. Nevertheless, we'll move to Hacky's 9th turn. We have to wait for the sinking delay because of the counter magics that have been used now. There are now 2 that are in the graveyards. Persecute for Joltenergy is now a 3-drop, and Buccaneer for Hacky is now a 4-drop to keep you up to speed. Okay, now we're ready to move to turn 9. Hacky pulls a Diamond Shard, which will pull him up to 4 resources, which gives him the ability to give the Totem flight. So you might see him play flight here on the Totem and then dual Air Superiority. That would make this Living Totem a 4/4, or he can choose just to give it Steadfast. That way it does not have to exhaust when attacking. That way he can block the Spectre if he absolutely has to, but deal 2 damage in and sacrifice it. Because he can start playing the Dreamers. Either play works out well. He does go to play the 2 copies of Superiority, so now it will be a 4/4 Totem. I almost wait to attack here and give him Steadfast and Swift Strike next, Steadfast or Swift Strike next turn. Yep, he does wait to attack, leaves him a blocker back. I have to hope Joltenergy does not pull a Blood Shard here as well as a Murder in hand or Extinction, something of that nature. Pardon me. Joltenergy plays no cards. So he has 8 in hand now and must discard. He discards a Yesterday, which is a basic action for 5 resources, which he wasn't able to play because he only has 4. And it allows you to play, Yesterday sends all troops back to their owner's hand. So he'll pass turn. Hacky on his 10th turn will drop a Diamond Shard. And play the 3rd copy of Air Superiority, which gives Living Totem 3/3. Nope. Joltenergy will play counter magic in response. So the 3rd copy of Air Superiority will not hit the battlefield. With 3 resources back, he will give Living Totem a buff of some sort. I like giving him Steadfast here. That we can go ahead and attack and leave him back to block. He might be tempted to give him Life Drain here just to get some more health, but I'm not buying that. See, now there's no point in giving him Steadfast because he's already exhausted. I like giving him Steadfast so he can stay back to block. Gives him Supreme Board State because now... Yep, he gives him Life Drain, so he'll go up to 11. Pardon me again. So it's 16-11 now. Joltenergy with 16, Hacky with 11. Hacky has 1 exhausted troop in the form of Living Totem as a 4/4. And Joltenergy has 2 troops on board. A 2/2 flyer in Ancestral Spectre. And a 1/1 Ancestor's Chosen. So we'll see if Joltenergy can pull a... Let's see what would be good here. A Murder would be excellent. A Life Siphon wouldn't be bad, accompanied with a Shard. Ancestral Spectre comes out, so he'll play that. Draw another card. And he chooses to attack with just these Chosen. He must be waiting to double block on the way back. But with 3 resources up, you have to fear the counter magic again. Only 1 blood threshold. Murder's not a threat here. Hacky draws a diamond shard again. Gives him 6 resources, so he can put 2 keywords on Totem here. I'm going Swift Strike and Steadfast. No. Swift Strike and Steadfast will all but lock it down, I would think. Pardon me for just a moment. Okay, I do apologize for that. Joltenergy does decide to double block. He does give the Totem Swift Strike, which means he'll be able to take all the Spectres out. But if he would have given it Steadfast as well, the 5/5 doesn't matter because the Swift Strike damage will kill both the Spectres before damage comes back. I still like playing Steadfast here, as Hacky assigns the damage. And so Hacky does get 5 life back from the Life Drain, bringing up to 14 is life total. Joltenergy, again, stuck without a shard, stuck with 8 cards. Going to have to discard. Hacky is clawing his way back. There goes another yesterday to the graveyard. The tides are turning. Here comes a diamond shard. He's going to play one of his Eldritch Dreamers. 1 more shard, he can give that thing flight. And now, Joltenergy would be in a world of hurt. Living Totem, you have to assume he's going to give a +1/+1 since he hasn't given it Steadfast yet. That would move Jolt down to 10 and Hacky up to 20. He does give +1/+1. So yes, 6 damage will go through now, as it's a 6/6 Living Totem. Jolt down to 10 life, Hacky up to 20. And tides are turning. 9 damage represented on board. A shard will make it 10 damage on board. I'm sorry, 11 damage on board, because he would be +2/+2. And that would be 11 flying, so that would be lethal damage. Jolt deals Ancestral Spectre, gives him a blocker and a card. Plays a shard, so he's up to 5 permanent resources, 4 total. He's still lacking that second blood threshold, though. That could be the major problem, as he can't use his murders, he can't use his life siphons, can't use his extinction. All those cards require dual blood threshold. He's forced to pass turn. Hacky, hoping for a shard here to end the game. Oh, actually, wouldn't end the game with the Spectre blocking. There's a shard. You have to assume he's going to be giving the Dreamer flight. And then you give the totem +2/+2. No, because it'll probably block. Yeah, I guess you might as well, because you get the life drain from it. Even if you put Steadfast on him, he's not going to have something with speed. And the damage is going to be nullified anyway, since you can't give a crush. But I like giving him +2/+2 here. Swinging 11 lethal damage forces Joltenergy to block. He's going to block the totem. There we go. Hacky won't turn. Buff it once. Buff it twice. Sold to Living Totem. So we'll take the Ancestral Spectre off the board on the first strike damage, or swift strike damage. Gain 8 health, put him up to 28. The 5 damage from the Dreamer goes through. Joltenergy down to 5. Hacky representing a game next turn. Joltenergy must have a Blood Shard here and Extinction in hand. Yesterday, that will work. Buy him a turn or two. That's all buys him. He really needed to destroy them, because they are permanent buffs on the Living Totem, so it will still come back out as an 8/8 flyer with Swift Strike, with Life Drain. So it'll come out 6/6, but it gets the 2/2 buff from the air superiority. And that menacing Grok from Hacky would exhaust any blockers in the event that Joltenergy puts any out there. So, again, Joltenergy needs another yesterday. It's a Blood Shard to be able to play Extinction. He's got to have some help. Passing back over to Joltenergy. He draws the Blood Shard. There it is. Blood Shard into Extinction, wipes the board. Signs of life for Jolt. He's got the champion ability. He's going ahead and use it. Brings back up to 6 health. 27 for Hacky. This now opens up a lot of possibilities for Jolt as you're looking at Life Siphon to bring him back in. He can now use his murders. Jolt plays another Ancestor's Chosen to keep those Ancestral Spectres flooding his deck. Signs of Life. Hacky. Will he drop duo Dreamers here, or now he draws a Diamond Shard, so you can go Dreamer and Grok if you wanted to, which would actually give him lethal damage, because the Chosen would not ready during the next prep phase, and there he goes. So with the +2/+2 buff from superiority, it is a 4/5. So he's representing lethal damage again. Because again, the Chosen will not ready. So Joltenergy needs another blocker. He needs a yesterday. He needs a murder. He needs some sort of way to prevent all 7 damage from coming through. Another glitch there. He plays a Zentos. Wow, we had a lot of glitch there. Let's see what happened. We had... Okay, let's back it up here. Looks like we had a big misfeed here. bear with me while I get us back to the previous board state. Here we go. Joltenergy. Draws a card, draws another Extinction. Wow. Huge top deck. Buying time. Ancestral Spectre. 2/2 flyer, draws him a card. Ancestral Spectre. 2/2 flyer, draws him a card. He's out of resources though now. So that'll be all he'll play this turn, but he's representing 4 damage flying. No troops on the board for Hacky. He has the one Eldritch Dreamer in hand, the only card he's got. Hacky draws a Spearcliff Cloud Knight, which would come in as a... He's going to play them both, it looks like. Yep, the 3/3 Spectre comes... The 3/3 Dreamer comes in. Why do you... Maybe he's playing the Cloud Knight second turn. Cloud Knight would come in as a 5/4. Flight, Steadfast, and Life Drain. He doesn't play the Cloud Knight. Maybe he's scared of a third Extinction, maybe? Maybe he's learned his lesson. 7th resource from Joltenergy now. Picking up steam. Shall we see a Life Siphon here? Surely not. Life Siphon would bring it 13 to 20. Joltenergy's going to look over his cards. He's got 5 cards in hand. Joltenergy, you went Extinction, Extinction to stay alive in this match. Again, Hacky won game 1, so Jolt needs to win this to force a game 3. Murder. No answer. Off comes the Dreamer. 4 resources back, 4 cards in hand. Here comes another Spectre. Draw another card. Ancestors Chosen. And here comes some significant board state. Jolt looking to make a comeback here. 3 Spectres on board. 2 of them can attack this turn and will, dealing 4 damage. And Ancestors Chosen. No cards in play for Hacky except his 2 constants. Air superiority each of them. 23 life for Hacky. 6 for Jolt. 3 cards in hand for Jolt. 1 for Hacky. Just the Spearcliff Cloud Knight. Draws a Sapphire Shard. He'll play the Cloud Knight, which again will come in as a 5/4 due to the air superiorities. With Life Drain and Steadfast, this could prove a small nuisance for Jolt. And Hacky's going to hold on to the Sapphire Shard as a bluff. Jolt looking for another murder. Looking for... Murder would be the ideal card. I don't think he's playing Buccaneers. We haven't seen him thus far. It doesn't really fit with this deck. 2 more Spectres go into the deck for Jolt. We're gone on about 19 minutes now in this game. Malice Demon. 7 drop 8/8 with Flight and Crush. The tides may have turned once again. Because now Hacky has no answer for that. His Spearcliff Cloud Knight is a small little gnat comparatively speaking. Because there's no answer for it. Jolt probably will not swing here. If anything, he'll just swing one of the Spectres. Oh. He's going ahead and swing 2 Spectres and the Chosen, forcing Hacky to probably block here to avoid taking all the damage. I don't know if I attack there. Now that gives Hacky health back. He's now back up to 25. I think I wait on there. You lose a card, deal 3 damage, but he gains 5. I'm not sure I agree with that play at all. And here comes a... Oh, wow, what a top deck. Hacky pulls a Buccaneer. You have to believe that's going to the Demon. Malice Demon, off you go. He'll cost 8 next turn, meaning in order to get it back out, Jolt would need to draw another resource. As you see, Buccaneer cost Hacky 5 that turn because of the previous counter magic that was played. Hacky looking to deal some more damage, put some more pressure on. As you know, he's going to swing for 5 here, forcing the block. Now, had Jolt not attacked last turn, Hacky would not have gotten the 5 life back, and he could have triple blocked here with all 3 Spectres and killed the Cloud Knight. Instead, he'll lose a Spectre. Hacky will go up to 30 health. Another misstep possibly by Jolt. Let's see, Jolt. I think if I have it, you have to drop. You have to drop Life Siphon here if you have it. Plays a champion ability. 7 life to 29 for Hacky. 8 resources back for Jolt. I don't know if I play the Demon again. No, you have to play the Demon again. If you don't have Life Siphon, you have to play the Demon again, yes. The one thing that is scary is you have seen counter magic from Hacky. Jolt can't see his hand. Hacky's got 1 card back and 4 resources available, so that could smell like counter magic, which would have been a dire card for this Demon. Demon does hit the board, though. That would have been absolutely devastating if Hacky did have a counter magic back and could have countered the Demon. Jolt wisely does not attack this time to give Hacky 5 more health. Hacky draws another shard. Now the tides are turning again. 19 minutes into the match. Plays a shard, 10 resources now. He can't attack. Hacky is stalemated. He can't attack because he would lose his Cloud Knight. On the same token, he can't block because he would lose the Cloud Knight and the damage would go through anyway with Crush, but he has 29 health, so he can afford to take 1 or 2 on the chin from the Demon, but not very many. Joltenergy, 4 cards in hand. Digging, needs Life Siphon. There it is, 4-8. That'll bring him back up to 15 health. Hacky down to 21. We have a brand new ball game, folks. Joltenergy is down by 6 health, but he's got the superior board state, I believe. He's going to swing with the 8. Now, what that does, though, because it does not have Steadfast, is Hacky will let the 8 go through, going down to 13. He can then attack with the Cloud Knight next turn, gain 5 of that back, and take 5 off of Jolt, bring him back down to 10. So some would say that Hacky does still have the superior board state because of the Steadfast ability of the Cloud Knight. We'll see how it plays out. Another shard for Hacky. He's pulling shards left and right. You have to think at one point in time, Jolt is going to have to hold from attacking with the Demon just so he can keep Hacky from attacking. Hacky will swing in. Steadfast forces him not to exhaust. The blocker by the Spectre. Keeps Jolt at 15, but gives Hacky 5 more health back, so he's back up to 18. Two more Spectres into the deck. Jolt drawing a card up to 4. 8 resources available. Hacky 1 card in hand. We see it as a Sapphire Shard. 11 resources up. Jolt may see it as counter magic. You would think he would have thought he would have countered the Demon when it came out last time. Another Life Siphon! 23 health for Jolt, 10 for Hacky. Unbelievable, we've swung that direction again. If he swings, as you allow the 8 damage to go through, He can because we'll get 5 back. This is scary. At this pace, we're looking at maybe 3 more turns for Hacky if he can't do something about the demon. 23 health for Jolt. 2 for Hacky. Hacky needs to draw something other than a shard here. Oh, wow. Menacing Grolk. That's huge. That will exhaust both cards on Jolt's side for the remainder of this turn and next turn. Menacing Grolk is a flyer, so it will come in as a 4/5. So we're looking at... Oh, and he can play a shard now and give the Buccaneer Flight. That's 5, 9, 13 damage on board. He can swing 9 this turn. Oh, if only he could swing all 3 this turn. He can make it a 2-turn game. Instead, he'll be 1 short. Either way, he swings 9. No response from Jolt because he has no resources available. Hacky back up to 7. Jolt back down to 14. Ladies and gentlemen, you must be 48 inches or taller to ride this ride. What a roller coaster we got going on. Jolt looking for an answer. He needs to do something about one of the cards on the board. Although Life Siphon would win him the game. I would think he would have slammed the Life Siphon if he had it by now. Renlock doesn't do anything unless you place something right behind it. Because all 3 troops on Hacky's side of the board are flying and Renlock is not. Hacky looking for something. He doesn't have any direct damage spells in his deck. Air Superiority would win the game. But that would be his 4th copy. As one was counter magicked earlier on. Diamond Shard. 1 more turn for Jolt. As Hacky will swing 13 damage, leaving Jolt with 1 health remaining. Hacky will go back up to 12. Which would not put him out of range of a Life Siphon. Let's play this through. If he swings out, he'll only have 1 blocker back. That blocker would have to, I imagine, block the 8/8 flyer. Which would give Hacky would net 2 health off of that, because 3 would go through, he'd get 5 back. So he would net 2 health, bring him back up to 9. 3 and 1 would go through, bring him back down to 5. So Life Siphon would win the game if he exhausts all the way out. So this is a huge crossroads as Hacky gamble and hope Jolt does not pull another Life Siphon. If he does pull Life Siphon, game's over. If he does not, Hacky has the win. Another card we've seen already is Terrible Transfer, which you could take the Cloud Knight off the board. Let's see what Jolt draws. Does he draw something for the win here? Go Life Siphon. Zentot's Inquisitor doesn't help. It's not flying. Zentot's Inquisitor does not help. It's not flying. He needs flying creatures. I think he's just emptying his hand here. He may have, he may be done. Yeah, if he has nothing to answer here with, he's done. Jolt swings the house. All Hacky has to do is block one of them. And that would be game. Unless Jolt has something on his second main phase. Second main phase, nothing. That is game. Hacky surviving a poor mulligan hand to start. Down to 2 health. On the ropes twice. Jolt was on the ropes twice. Unbelievable game here. Unbelievable game. Holy smoke. As easily the best game we have shard casted yet. Wow. 26-minute game. Holy cow. Wow, that's unbelievable. Let's go ahead and rehash some of that. Again, it was a poor start for Hacky with the 5-card starting hand. Only had 1 resource through the first 4 turns. Let's go look see what may have been a key card here in the match. Almost turned it around for Jolt. That card was the Malice Demon. As we go ahead and take a look at that. Malice Demon is a 8/8 that has flying and crush when it comes into play. Sorry about that. I had a little technical difficulty with that screen there. Is a 8/8 for 7 cost with crush and flight, which is a supremely overpowered card for its cost, given its abilities. We may see that change, or maybe they're saying it's a high enough costed card where they don't need to change it. As you can see, without that Buccaneer and a couple of supreme draws there by Hacky, that might have been a game changer there for Jolt. He may come back to win. Instead, that was a 2-0 victory for Hacky. That is another loss there for Joltenergy. And let's take a look at the standings after day 4. Function Fails is up top. He has been undefeated thus far in the pool round here in the North American West Coast pool. Hacky now moves up to 2-1-0. His only loss was again on day 1 to Function Fails. Muko is at 1-1. Errant Squire 0-1, and Joltenergy moved to 0-3. Again, you see a little bit of disparity between the number of games played because we did have a couple of server issues on both day 2 and day 3 that have pushed a couple of games back. Again, to rehash, a 26-minute game between Hacky and Joltenergy. A well-played game by both players. In the end, though, Hacky comes out victorious, so that will be the end of this match. Again, we'll be bringing you 2 matches on Shardcast from day 5. In the meantime, I'd like to thank you again for tuning in. Another shout out to Hex TCG Pro and Hexcasters, the sponsors of this second Hex Streamers tournament. I will have links to the Twitch pages and YouTube pages of the competitors, as well as myself, Shardcast, and Hexcasters, so be sure to check those out. In the meantime, until next time, so long.